Imagine leaving behind your family, your friends, and the entire human world, just to live with wolves. This is the unbelievable true story of a woman who spent 20 years of her life inside the wilderness, side by side with one of the most feared predators on Earth. Was it survival? Was it madness? Or was it love? Let's uncover the story of the woman who lived with wolves. Before the wolves, there was loneliness. Elena was a quiet woman, living in a crowded city but feeling like a stranger. Her life felt meaningless. Wake up, work, sleep, repeat. She had no close family, no children, and few friends. At night, she often dreamed of forests, rivers, and wild animals. One day, she decided she could no longer survive in the cage of the city. She sold what little she owned, packed a backpack with some food, and walked into the wilderness. She thought she was just searching for peace. What she found was something much more powerful. On her very first night in the wild, she heard it, the long, haunting howl of a wolf. Her heart raced. She turned and saw 3 wolves watching her from the shadows. Their gaze was not just hunger, it was curiosity. Instead of screaming, Elena did something unexpected. She tore a piece of bread and threw it toward them. The wolves sniffed, ate, and slowly walked away. That night she realized something. The wolves didn't see her as prey. They saw her as different. This was the fragile beginning of an extraordinary bond. Life in the forest was not easy. Elena had to learn everything from scratch. How to find food, how to build shelter, how to survive harsh nights. At times she nearly gave up. But the wolves, they were always there, watching. She began to study them, how they hunted, how they communicated, how they cared for each other. She noticed something unusual. The wolves were also studying her. Slowly, her clumsy survival methods started to improve, and without realizing it, she was becoming more like them. It happened one evening. Elena was sitting quietly when the wolves came closer than ever before. The alpha wolf stepped forward, his golden eyes fixed on her. For a long moment, he studied her face. Then, he lowered his head. It was a sign. Acceptance. Elena was no longer just a stranger in the food was always scarce. Elena couldn't depend on berries and roots alone. So, when the pack went hunting, she followed. She couldn't run like them, but she could watch, learn, and adapt. One winter, when hunger nearly broke her, the wolves brought down a deer. Instead of chasing her away, they allowed her to share their kill. That night, around the fresh snow stained with red, Elena realized something. She was no longer human in their eyes. She was one of them. The years rolled by. Summers were short and beautiful. Running streams, fish, berries. Winters were brutal. Snowstorms, hunger, and long nights of freezing cold. But Elena survived them all. Wrapped in wolf furs, guided by the pack, she adapted to the seasons just as they did. Every year she grew stronger, leaner, more like the creatures she lived among. The woman who once couldn't light a fire was now living like she had been born in the wild. Not all dangers came from nature. One day, Elena found traps in the forest, metal jaws hidden under leaves. Hunters had entered the wolves' territory. For the first time, she felt protective not just of herself, but of her pack. She carefully destroyed traps, erased tracks, and tried to keep the wolves away. But one night, gunshots echoed. A young wolf was killed. Elena wept, holding its fur, realizing the cruel truth. Humans were far more dangerous than wolves. As the years passed, Elena became more than just a member of the pack. She became its protector, its healer, even a mother. When wolf pups were born, they crawled near her without fear. She fed them scraps, kept them warm, and played with them as if they were her own children. The pack treated her with the same respect. She had finally found what she had been searching for all along: family. 20 years passed like a dream. Elena had aged, but her spirit was stronger than ever. She no longer thought of herself as a visitor in the wilderness. This was her home. The wolves were her family. But deep inside, she knew something. One day, she would have to choose: remain in the forest forever or return to the human world. The wolves could not protect her from time itself. The day finally came. Elena's health was failing. She knew she couldn't survive another winter. With tears in her eyes, she packed her few belongings. The wolves surrounded her quietly, as if they knew. The alpha lifted his head and let out one long, mournful howl. Elena whispered, "Thank you, my family." And then, for the first time in 20 years, she walked back toward the human world. When Elena returned, people barely recognized her. She looked wild, her eyes sharp, her movements graceful like a wolf. They called her the woman who lived with wolves. Some admired her, others thought she was insane. But Elena knew the truth. She had found love, loyalty, and belonging, not among humans, but among wolves. Her story became a legend, a reminder that sometimes, to find yourself, you must lose everything.